It's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, October 17th. So today, Monday, is ruled over by the moon, and we have the moon in her place of power in Cancer energy. Now, we are going to have the last quarter moon. We are also going to have, within just hours of this last quarter moon in Cancer, Mercury finally bust free of his post-shadow period. What does this mean? Well, it means that we are in brand new territory for the first time since about August 25th. And we finally have Mercury up to the 8th degree, moving past the 8th degree. And of course, that's important because Mercury went retrograde on the 8th degree. Up until now, we've been processing. We have been reflecting. We've been trying to clean up the loose ends of the past. We've been trying to kind of make sense of some of the situations that have popped off and transpired already. And now we are moving into a time and space where we are in brand new territory, where we are not so much looking back as we are standing in this present moment. And of course, now projecting our energy and attention for the future. So what we can expect from this, first of all, Mondays are usually very heavy. You know, there is a very generalized dislike for Mondays for a good reason, because it is ruled over by the moon. We are feeling very heavy, very weighted in our physical bodies. Feels like we're running underwater most times. There is a weight of roles and responsibilities that we just don't feel like we have the energy to kind of live up to. Mondays are hard. Having Monday actually in the moon sign of Cancer, its rulership, intensifies that energy that much more. And because we've had the last couple of days of being kind of introverted, kind of withdrawn. Why? Because we have to kind of result in a new grounding point emotionally. We've been going through it, and we've been trying to kind of, process our inner realm, find a new grounding point where we're going to operate from emotionally. And the last quarter moon of any lunar phase always brings things full circle. So the fact that we are bringing things full circle with this new emotional understanding, this new foundation that we're currently sitting in, and that we have to kind of get to work rebuilding, we're definitely going to have some aha moments here, especially where the home and the family dynamics have definitely transformed and changed. We should be illuminated to where some boundaries need to be put into our lives in order to protect ourselves, protect our energy. And then, of course, having Mercury bust free out of that post-shadow period and actually move into degrees that we haven't explored thus far means that there's going to be a shift in our perspective and understanding as well. So we're definitely going to have an up and down kind of day, mostly because we are building towards this last quarter moon in Cancer at 24 degrees. And at 24 degrees, this is the latter degrees of the sign, which means that we are wrapping things up, bringing things full circle, bringing things to a completion point. We have to sort things out. We will definitely have an aha moment, have some epiphanies that we will kind of use to refuel, recharge ourselves, our spirit, our attention, our focus, that we will kind of make the decision that we will be moving forward, we will be looking forward now that we kind of feel like we've broken free from some of the confusion, the constructs that have really been holding us back. So we are in for a little bit of a topsy-turvy kind of day. Now, there are 11 different aspects here today. 9 of them involve the moon. The moon is going to sextile Uranus right out of the gate, which is a beautiful thing because it's setting us up for insight. It's setting us up for an aha moment. It's also setting us up to open our minds and our heart space up for change, which, as we've been exploring, the moon being in Cancer isn't really too keen on change, even though we know that changes need to be made and we know that we have to make changes. We tend to kind of clam up and just kind of grasp to what is old, tried, tested, true, traditional, familiar in this Cancer energy. So starting the day off with this blast of insight, with this blast of electricity, with this blast of, spontaneity, if you will, we are trying to shift our focus from, the past and being fixated on the past and holding that, death grip on the past so that things wouldn't change. We're now opening up to that. And this is a good energy for us to really examine where it is that we haven't felt free enough to move on, where we haven't felt supported enough to move on, where we feel like maybe, the change and transformation that's taking place in our physical realms haven't really been supporting us in moving on, but we're actually gearing up to be put in a position where we are allowed to take action. So this is a good opener for the day. Now, the moon is going to go ahead and bump into Saturn, Mr. Karma himself, ruling over roles and responsibilities, who is currently retrograde in Aquarius energy. This is the last week for Saturn to be retrograde, so we are kind of pushing, feeling that intensity build to wrap up these particular life lessons. And just a reminder, Saturn being retrograde in Aquarius energy should have been showing us where it is that we have to create a different system, a brand new foundation, different routines in our lives in order to create boundaries to protect ourselves instead of giving our power, our energy away to other people. This is very much an illumination on where it is that we put our own wants, needs, and desires on the back burner to do what we thought other people were expecting us to do, and where that hasn't turned out so well for us. So that is the overall lesson that Saturn has been trying to teach us for the past 5 months. And with the moon interacting in Saturn in this way, it is definitely an opportunity to see where in our lives, in our day-to-day lives, in the here and now, that we can actually take action and start making a change. Now, let me just remind you, our greater, grander outcome, what it is that we're capable of, the possibilities of the reality in which we are able to create relies solely on what it is that we do each and every single day. Our mental habits, our physical habits, the routines that we put ourselves in. And right now, we have to focus on where it is that we have to start rebuilding and restructuring the way we think, the way we feel, the way we operate, the way that we deal with our day-to-day tasks, the way that we align ourselves with new projects, new visions, new goals, new dreams. It all starts in the here and now. We have to understand that the greater, grander picture is only ever possible if we do the work to put the finer details, the smaller pieces together in the here and now. Eventually, that picture will grow, that big vision will be revealed, and it will be manifest, but the success and the outcome of that is dependent on what it is that we focus on in the here and now. So we're a little bit serious. We're a little bit somber, if you will, because we really have to kind of pay attention to what we need to switch up in our lives, in our routines, in our day-to-day life, in our mental plane, in our emotions. Now, we have new roles and responsibilities that are being asked of us. We are in a position where we are bossing up to take control over certain elements of our lives that have gotten a little bit cray-cray and out of control. And right now, we need to focus on what we need to build in our lives in order to provide us a strong foundation to operate from our daily lives, our emotions, our mental plane in this present moment, so we can actively start snapping these pieces together and have the greater, grander picture eventually revealed. The moon is going to square Venus. This isn't going to feel good. Why? Because it never feels good when we have to get into the boxing ring and fight it out with parts of ourselves, with elements of ourselves. Now, the moon is our emotions, it's our intuition, it's our unconscious self. Venus, of course, is in her place of power in Libran energy, who is very indecisive, trying to figure out what it is that we want, need, and desire in our lives, especially where relationships are concerned. We're definitely in a very transitional period. When we level up and take our power back, of course, that has a direct effect on the power exchange that we have within our personal relationships. And some people do not respond well for us standing up for ourselves and doing what is right for ourselves. And you can definitely figure out where it is that you stand in other people's lives by doing what is right for you and seeing how they react to that. And right now, we are getting into the boxing ring to try and figure out where it is that we are feeling, I'm going to say, the most uncomfortable, the most unstable, the most unbalanced, the most unpeaceful, if that's a word, and unharmonious, if that's a word, because, of course, the Libran energy wants us to find balance and peace and harmony, and we have to sort out why it is that we're not experiencing those things in the here and now. And ignoring them and sweeping these elements underneath the rug is not helping us. We do have to kind of get in the boxing ring and fight it out amongst ourselves in order to figure out what it is we actually need to create in our lives to fill those voids, to heal those wounds. The moon is going to trine Neptune. This is a beautiful energy for a couple of reasons. First of all, a trine is always a positive aspect. It means that we get to blend these elements together. Now, the moon in Cancer is water on water. Neptune retrograde in Pisces is water on water. Neptune is our spirituality, our creativity, our soul selves, if you will, our intuition, if you will. Water, as you know, is deeply transformative, highly cleansing, and very imaginative, very creative. It's literally our soul, our spirit. And right now, this particular aspect is trying to refresh our soul and our spirit, to remind us of what our dream and our vision is, to inspire our higher selves and our intuition to really focus on what it is that we want for ourselves in the future. Because of course we have to kind of grasp a vision of the future, what that goal, what that vision, what that dream is, in order to break it down into manageable pieces and actually start working on it. So this is kind of, I'm going to say, like a little bit of a rejuvenation, if you will, a refresher, a renewal, if you will. And it's coming about 2 hours prior to the moon squaring the sun, which of course gives us our last quarter moon. So we do actually have the last quarter moon in Cancer at this 24 degrees taking place at 1:16 p.m., again, Eastern Standard Time. So anytime that the moon and the sun are interacting in any kind of way, it's an overlap. It's an overlap of our emotions, our intuition, our past versus our future selves, what it is that we need to pour our time, energy, and attention into in order to accomplish. So of course, we have the moon in its place of power in Cancer. We have the sun in Libran energy. And what this is going to do is, yes, it does create a little bit of an intense pressure point, a little bit of a boiling point, a little bit of a cluster F in us. But this is like the breakthrough point. This is the turning point, if you will, the turning point in our understanding, in our perspective, in the chaos, in the confusion. This is when we get to have an aha moment. This is when we get to sort out what is working for us, what isn't working for us, what do we want, what do we not want. This is like a full circle accumulation of what was kind of popping off for us back under the new moon in Libra that, of course, we are wrapping up as we move into eclipse season. We will be having our new moon in Scorpio here very shortly. It's going to be hella intense because it does carry the eclipse energy as well. But right now we're having to reflect back on this past month and really sort out what has happened, what we like about it, what we don't like about it. We're having aha moments, piecing together new perspectives, new epiphanies, new understandings. This is essentially when we say, you know what? I think we're done trying to clean up the elements of the past. I think we're done trying to sit in the funk. Let's kind of, get ourselves together and start moving forward. Again, keep in mind that Mercury is busting out of the post-shadow period. He is up to full speed. He is looking forward. We're in brand new territory. This also compounds on this turning point, on this epiphany point, on this ability to say, you know what? I'm done kind of letting the past hold me back. Let's focus our attention and energy on the future. So we have the moon interacting with Mars in such a way that will actually provide us a little bit of a choice point, an opportunity to take action, to grow, to implement new ideas, and actually see them manifest in our physical realm. Mars, of course, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire, even our anger, who is in Gemini energy, again, intellect, debating the pros and cons of different choices, different ideas. Yes, we're in Libra season. Yes, we're highly indecisive. Yes, we're on the fence about a lot, but slowly but surely, we are seeing opportunities present themselves to either clarify an idea that we're not willing to pursue or validate a new path that we are willing to actually move forward with. So it does kind of feel that there will be a situation pop off in our exterior realm to provide us with a little bit of information, a little bit of insight to validate for us what it is that we are willing to pursue from here. The moon bumps into the true node, our soul's path, which tells me that we are piecing together some kind of strategy, some kind of plan. We are seeing what it is that we need to move away from in order to move closer to certain elements, new roles, new responsibilities. This true node is trying to get us on the right path in order for us to reach our soul's mission, our soul's purpose. And because we've kind of been stuck in review, stuck in cleanup land, we are just breaking out of that territory and preparing ourselves to move forward. This does, again, suggest that the epiphanies, the turning point, the perspective, the understanding that is coming through for us right now is helping us to piece together some kind of move, some kind of baby step, some kind of pursuit, if you will, of these new ideas, of the strategy, of the plan that we have to kind of put into play in order to move away from where it is that we're at and move closer to where it is that we desire to be. So the moon goes ahead and opposes, sits across from, and has a little bit of a confrontation with Pluto. Now, Pluto, as you know, just went direct. He's still very slow moving. It's going to take some time for him to clear his post-shadow period. But Pluto is all about transformation. And we go through that transformation by seeing a death, an ending, a closure to certain parts of ourselves, certain relationships, certain life lessons. There's all kinds of things being disrupted at this time, all kinds of soul contracts ending. There's a lot of change taking place, and we can expect that change to be a little bit more intense and a little bit more, I'm going to say, tangible and noticeable in our physical realm over the next couple of weeks, especially where eclipse season is about to sort us out. We have this opposition because Cancer energy and Capricorn energy sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. And with Pluto now direct in Capricorn energy, we are bossing up. We are ready to step into new roles, new responsibilities, new positions of power, new positions of authority. We are ready to do what needs to be done in order for us to take our lives in our own hands and start kind of making life work for us instead of letting life happen to us. Now, the Cancer and Capricorn axis that we're currently experiencing with the emotions of the moon and the obsessive, compulsive empowerment of Pluto right now is about safety and security and stability, especially when it comes to our home life and those responsibilities, our private life, our domestic life, versus the life that we kind of play out on the greater, grander stage, you know, where we're out in the world, where our reputations are concerned, where our finances are concerned. There's a lot going on. There's a lot changing in our landscape, and this particular energy is here to boss us up in all the right ways. Caution, you might have to bully yourself in order to get into a place of power. That Plutonian energy is very dark. It does kind of highlight the pain and the trauma and the suffering that we've had to endure, only to try and inspire us, to motivate us, to kind of put us on a new hell-bent path of determination in order to make something right out of something wrong, to turn that pain into power and to turn that darkness into light. Venus goes ahead and bumps into Neptune, which is a very interesting aspect, and I'm going to break it down. First of all, Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. Venus is the goddess of love and beauty and worth and pleasure and money. She's very connected to our ego realm, our materialistic realm, this 3D density realm. And Neptune is the higher form of Venus, connected to the cosmos, connected to our soul self, connected to the creativity, the inspiration, the epiphanies, the aha moments that have to come into our higher realm before we can drop them down into our physical body, where Venus energy can take over and actually manifest them, bring them to life, birth them, bring them into creation. So this is it's always interesting when Venus and Neptune get together. We have Venus in her place of power in Libran energy. We have Neptune in his place of power in Pisces energy. So Venus is very down to earth and Neptune is out in la la land. So this is very much a situation that will likely be popping off in our physical realities right now that puts us in a position to see where it is that we are either being too realistic, too stuck in this 3D physical realm earth suit, or too stuck in fantasy land, too stuck in imagination, too stuck in disassociation. Regardless, the point here is that we have to strike a balance. There is a balance needed in this life in order for us to be down to earth, grounded, realistic in this physical realm, in this storyline that we're currently playing out. But we can't block out magic. We can't block out, cosmos. We can't block out creativity and fantasy. And that is very much the Neptune realm. We have been kind of consumed with the physical changes going on in this physical reality because we've been kind of weighed down by all of these earth elements. And, with all of these planets in a retrograde, it's been very hard to see the forest past the trees. Many of us have been disconnected and disassociated from our spiritual selves, from our soul selves. And because of that, it's really adding to the insecurities and the doubts, the emotional chaos and disruption that many of us have been feeling. Because, of course, in Libra season, that's where all of these insecurities and doubts come to the surface. And with Venus in her place of power in Libran energy, she's very unsure about what it is she wants to create from here, what it is that she wants, needs, and desires within her own relationship with herself, the relationship with other people, and the relationship that she has with the world around her. So we are kind of getting blasted with particular life lessons right now that should be pushing us back into a spiritual practice, back into habits and hobbies that tap into fun and inspiration and creativity and magic, and basically just opening the door for our soul self to come in and at least meet our ego self halfway. There is a bridge there that we do have to kind of balance out. And again, we're in Libra season, so the scales being balanced are super important. But realistically, we should be kind of thrown a particular life lesson where we will be illuminated where it is that we're living too much in this 3D realm or where we're not grounded enough in this 3D realm. So we are going to have to strike a balance between that particular situation as it arises. We do have the sun trining Mars. This is beautiful. This is our green light go ahead and take an action. We are hyped up. We are energized. We are ready to make a physical move. We are ready to kind of take a step forward in the path and the strategy that we've been thinking about. We are ready to bring a new idea to life. Again, Mars being in Gemini energy is the pursuit of new ideas. And the sun, of course, is our life force energy in this Libra energy. Yes, it can be very indecisive, but we just had a lot of positive aspects that are helping us really sort out the pros from the cons and illuminating where it is we have to move away from certain things in order for us to be on the right path of alignment to move closer to other things, new ideas, new territory, new action plan, new strategy, new reality that we are currently restructuring, reinventing, and rebuilding. We end the day off with the moon making a super positive aspect with Mercury. So here we have the moon in brand new territory. We have Mercury in brand new territory. And this is our heart and our head getting on the same page, getting in alignment, getting in agreement. Because what needs to happen in order to manifest? Well, our heart and head need to be on the same page before we can activate the physical body to go ahead and start pursuing the actions needed in order to align with the vision, with the dream, with the goal that we have already kind of, I'm going to say, made peace with and determined that we want to pursue within inside of ourselves. So this is a very high positive note that we are ending the day off on. We have the emotional refreshment, the emotional renewal, we have the mental renewal, and we even have the sun and Mars backing us, shining a light on where it is that we can take an action, where it is that we can move forward, and where it is that we are definitely certain, if just with one baby step, that we have to make a move. We have to progress ourselves on this path in this exploration of bringing new ideas to life. So this is when we essentially get the green light go ahead to start really pursuing our new passions, our new desires, our new dreams, and our heart and our head are in agreement for us to do just that.